Okay, this week, and by the way, this is November 17th, 2014. This week we're going to do something new. We're going to do inequalities. I'm thinking that you've probably done inequalities before, and so probably today will largely be a review. I want you to copy these problems down. So let's go over them and read them together as you're copying them down. This first problem reads x is greater than 5. When the open part faces the variable, open part, then it's x is greater than 5. So write that down, x is greater than 5. And here we have x is less than 5. And so my rule is when the little pointy part faces the variable, it's less than. Okay, so greater than, less than. Now we come to this one, and this one has an additional sign. It's this equal to sign underneath. So we read this, x is greater than or equal to 5. X is greater than or equal to 5. And this one is x is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so make sure you have all of those written down. And then I just want to remind you, I have two goals really for tonight. One is that if I give you an inequality like this, you can graph it, and I'm going to give you my specific graphing rules. And the other is, if I show you a number line of a graph, you can actually give me the inequality like this would be. So we have two things you're going to be able to do. You, on this point tonight, you're just going to have to copy things down. There's nothing really that you need to stop the video for or anything. And then there's one other thing I want to remind you, and that is whether the variable is here on the left or over here on the right, you always read this from the variable. So this is read x is greater than, because it's facing the variable, x is greater than 5, and this is x is greater than 5. I don't care whether the variable is on the left or the right, always read it starting with the variable. Okay, so now for me, number lines have to have three things. They have to have the number itself. So this is 5, and obviously it goes in the middle. So this is 5 right here. Whoops. Let's get our eraser undone there. That's 5. Okay, then it has to have one number greater than that. One number greater than 5 is 6, and one number less than that, which is 4. Okay, so one number less, the number itself, one number greater. Now, if I say x is greater than 5 when I read this, right, well, one of the numbers greater than 5. Well, they're to the right. So I circle this, and I shade to the right. On this one, 4, 5, 6. One number smaller, one number greater. Okay? This one reads x, the little pointy part, x is less than 5. Where the number is less than 5, those numbers are to the left. Less than 5. Now, notice how on the first two examples, I did not shade in the number 5. I circled it, but I didn't shade it in. On this one, because it says x is greater than or equal to 5, when I do this, I'm actually going to fill that in. So I'm going to circle 5, I'm going to shade it in, and then again I'm going to shade to the right, because x is greater than or equal to 5. Greater than or equal to 5. Anything bigger than 5 is to the right. And same thing here, so this little line here tells me to fill in the circle. X is less than or equal to 5. Less than or equal to 5. Okay? So here we have greater than or equal to, everything to the right. Less than or equal to, everything to the left. Okay? This reads x is greater than or equal to 2. Now you're writing this down, and you're copying down the number line, and you're trying to pay attention to, could you do this? If I gave you this inequality, could you do this number line? Well, so do you know that 2 goes here? One number less is 1. One number greater than is 3. X is greater than or equal to 2. That means that I have to go this way, because the number is greater than 2 to the right. again, write this down. X is less than or equal to 3. So this time I have 3. I have 2, one number less, and one number more, 4. Okay? This time I've circled in the 3 because the line under here tells me to do that, and I've shaded here to the right. Make sure you have this copied. So again, x is less than or equal to 3, less than or equal to 3. Okay, x is greater than or equal to negative 3. X is greater than or equal to negative 3. The open part is facing the x, so that's why I read greater than or equal to negative 3. Negative 4 is one number smaller than negative 3. Negative 2 is one number bigger than negative 3. Facing this way. Why is it facing that way? Because the numbers that are bigger than negative 3 are facing to the right. Okay? X is less than or equal to negative 8. The little pointy part tells me that it's less than or equal to negative 8. Negative 9, negative 8, negative 7. So notice how negative 8 goes here in the middle. One number smaller, negative 9. One number less than, negative 7. Remember, when numbers go this way, they're getting smaller. When numbers go this way, they're getting bigger. X is less than or equal to negative 8. That tells me that 8 needs to be circled in, and all the numbers that are less than 8 are to the left. X is greater than or equal to 15. This time it doesn't have a line under it, so I know I won't fill in the 15. Okay, the 15 goes here. One number less, 14. One number greater, 16. All the numbers that are greater than 15, they're to the right. To the right. X is greater than 15. Make sure that you have that copied down. X is greater than 15. All the numbers greater than 15 are to the right. X is less than or equal to 13. Okay, so now I have 3 numbers on my number line again. The 13, of course, in the middle. One smaller, one greater. 12, 13, 14. Now this reads X is less than or equal to 13. Little pointy part means less than or equal to. Less than or equal to 13. All the numbers that are less than 13 facing to the right. This one reads X is less than negative 12. Make sure you have that written down. Make sure you have your number line. Notice negative 13, negative 12, negative 11. Negative 12 is the one here. One number less, one number more. Notice the little pointy part is facing to the X. X is less than negative 12. So my numbers that are less than 12 are all facing to the left. X is greater than or equal to negative 100. Okay, so negative 100, negative 100, negative 100, sorry. Let's try that again. Negative 101, negative 100, negative 99. Up here, X is greater than negative 100. All the numbers bigger than negative 100 are facing to the right, and that's why the arrow is facing to the right. Because there's no number line under, or number, there's no equal to under here, I do not fill this in. Okay, on these, your job, and I'm going to let you go ahead and copy the picture first, is to also make sure that you write the inequality. So the first thing I want you to do, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2. And then make sure you fill in negative 3 and face it to the right. Now, what is that giving you as an inequality? What inequality? Well, we know it's X. Okay, we also know that it's negative 3. What about negative 3? Are these numbers greater than, or are they less than? Well, those are greater than. And because that circle is filled in, I can tell that it's greater than or equal to -3. Okay, write this down. -11, -10, -9. -11, -10, -9. Fill the circle in around -10 and this time shade to the left. Well, what does that inequality mean? Well, we've got -10, x, -10. Now, these are facing to the left. That means all the numbers that are smaller than -10. It also means, because this is filled in, that it's smaller than or equal to. X is less than or equal to -10. How about this one? Go ahead and write it down. -12, -11, -10. -12, -11, -10. Okay, face your numbers this way. And what does that mean? Well, we've got the x, we have the -11. Okay, all of these numbers are bigger than -10, so greater than -10. I did not put an equal to sign under here because this is not filled in, and this is not -10, this is -11. Let me fix that, -11. X is greater than -11. Okay, here we go. -27, -26, -25. -27, -26, -25. And look where your arrow is. You've got it facing here to the left. So x and -26. And it's facing to the left, so it must be less than -26. Okay, so x is less than -26. Over here, x is greater than -11. Okay, that's all for tonight. Make sure everything I copied down, you have copied down as well.